Rugby is a sport that cannot be explained in simple words. To truly understand it, first of all, you need to see it from the outside. And secondly, you need to step inside the game yourself, feel the atmosphere within the team and become part of those relationships. Only then you can really understand what rugby is all about. Many people say that if you take up rugby, you'll end up with serious injuries or even start looking like a man. But that's completely not true. I've been playing for about 15 years now. Not only rugby players, but every athlete has a dream to reach the Olympic Games. When we travel to competitions in other countries, my biggest desire is to finish in the top positions in rugby. I want to prove and show to the whole world that Kazakhstan also has rugby at a high level and that we are capable of winning.
Meet Balzhan Koishybayeva, the embodiment of impeccable athletic discipline, skill, and extraordinary focus. Athletes like her are often called the backbone of the team. Over the course of a decade and a half in professional sports, Balzhan has undergone a tremendous evolution, transforming from a timid rookie into the main mental pillar of the entire national team, for whom no obstacle or authority is insurmountable.
I've been playing rugby for about 15 years now, but right before every single match, right up until the referee's first whistle, I still get a little nervous. I don't know why that happens. There's always a little fear and trepidation inside, right up until the first tackle on the field, right up until the very first hard contact with an opponent. But as soon as the game starts, all of that disappears instantly, and everything else is completely forgotten.
An oval ball, hard tackles, fierce collisions, and incredible speed that pushes the limits of what seems possible. In the world of elite sport, rugby has long earned its reputation as a game for people with truly iron character. It is a sport that allows no pretense, where hesitation is punished with immediate defeat, and true strength is measured by the ability to rise after the most crushing hit. At first glance, this harsh and uncompromising environment may seem designed exclusively for men, but reality breaks even the most deeply rooted stereotypes.
I don't know why this happens, but a lot of people think that just because we play rugby professionally, we must look like men. Yes, for some reason, most people believe that, but when they see us in person outside of practice, they're always a little surprised and say, "So you're actually so small, delicate, and just ordinary girls?" It's all because when people hear the word rugby, they immediately picture female athletes with huge, well-defined muscles or even a distinctive, deepened voice.
In Kazakhstan, at the heart of this high-contact, adrenaline-driven sport stand those whose outward fragility conceals the unbreakable will of elite athletes. A powerful symbol of this sporting evolution is Balzhan Koishybayeva, the leader, driving force, and arguably the heart of Kazakh women's national team. Her name is firmly linked to a new era in the development of domestic rugby. She's someone who can guide the team through the most critical moments of a match, giving everything to the game without holding back. Her sporting journey is an honest, profound, and inspiring story of overcoming pain, fear, and doubt on the path toward her ultimate dream, the Olympic Games.
There are so many good things to say about Balzhan. She's probably the most responsible and down-to-earth person on our team. She's the one who will always lead us forward. She's the one who will work harder than anyone else and push us to work harder than anyone else. She's the kind of person who will probably pour her heart out and soul into what she loves. And thank goodness she loves rugby.
Rugby is a truly unique phenomenon in global sporting culture. Originating in England more than 2 centuries ago, it has evolved into a worldwide sport followed by millions. Numerous legends surround its creation, but the most widely accepted story dates back to 1823. During a football match in the town of Rugby, a young student named William Webb Ellis allegedly broke the rules by picking up the ball and running toward the opponent's goal line. That bold and unconventional act is said to have marked the birth of an entirely new game. The sport itself took its name from the town of Rugby, while the men's Rugby World Cup trophy was later named after the young rebel whose actions became part of sporting history. Modern rugby combines elements of athletics, wrestling, basketball, and of course football. A rugby player must possess the speed of a sprinter, the strength of a heavyweight, and the tactical intelligence of a chess master. The ball's distinctive oval shape makes it bounce completely unpredictable, adding an extra layer of excitement and uncertainty to every match. The most fundamental rule of rugby is the prohibition of forward passes by hand. Players can advance the ball toward the opponent's try zone only by passing it backward or sideways, while moving it forward is permitted solely through kicking. This creates a unique attacking structure, forcing the team to move as a unified front where every player supports and protects their teammates.
Rugby is a very versatile sport in itself. You can start playing rugby from as early as 7 years old. One of its greatest strengths is that athletes can come into rugby from completely different sports backgrounds. If you've been doing another sport until, say, 16, and you don't make it into a national team or don't see further progress, rugby allows you to fully learn the game within just a couple of years. We've had many players who switched from other sports and within 3 years were already representing the Kazakh national team. Rugby is truly multidimensional. As I mentioned, it combines elements of football, basketball, wrestling, track and field, and even boxing. That diversity is what makes rugby so appealing.
Interestingly, rugby is an entire family of disciplines, most commonly distinguished by the number in their names. The number in the format's name indicates how many players from each side are on the field. The traditional version is Rugby Union or Rugby 15s. It's a physically demanding and highly tactical game where two 40-minute halves often resemble a strategic battle of endurance, strength, and decision-making. Rugby 7 follows a completely different logic. It is a fast-paced Olympic format. On the same large field, only 7 players per side compete in 2 short 7-minute halves.
I think rugby is good values. It doesn't just help by playing rugby, also in life as well. You take that discipline in life as well. So the rugby values always works. I think it's just getting more people involved, especially the young kids, starting at schools. And if rugby can get introduced into schools, it will work much better.
Women's rugby holds a special place in the sport's history and is now one of the fastest-growing disciplines in the world. For many years, it was widely believed that the physicality and intensity of rugby made it unsuitable for women. Time and again, however, female athletes proved those assumptions wrong. Women's rugby sevens made its Olympic debut at the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro and immediately captivated audiences with its pace, athleticism, and fierce competitiveness. In Kazakhstan, women's rugby has played a particularly important role in the development of the sport. This is a unique story, as in most countries, rugby traditionally grew through men's clubs and competitions. In Kazakhstan, however, it was women's rugby that first established itself as a major force on the international stage. Kazakhstani players have consistently ranked among the strongest teams in Asia. Over the years, it has won multiple continental championships, delivered standout performances at the Asian Games, and made a strong impression in international sevens competitions. Kazakhstan's rugby school has long been recognized for its aggressive defense, exceptional fitness, and outstanding teamwork.
I came to rugby from athletics when I was in the 10th grade. One day I was invited to attend a training session. To be honest, after my first practice, I didn't fully understand the game, but very quickly I realized how exciting and dynamic it was. What impressed me most was the team spirit. In rugby, success never depends on just one player. Every result is the product of the entire team's effort. You always feel the presence of your teammates beside you, ready to help and fight for a common goal. That sense of unity, combined with intensity and excitement of the game, is what made me fall in love with rugby. I can't speak for the culture of every other sport, but what I can say about rugby is that we are one big family. We're always ready to stand up for each other, help each other, and work together toward a common goal. Many people still say that if a girl takes up rugby, she's bound to get seriously injured or eventually become less feminine. But believe me, that simply isn't true. In reality, rugby opens up tremendous opportunities and teaches qualities that stay with you for life. Yes, rugby may not yet be as popular in our country as boxing or wrestling, but what makes the sport truly special is that it brings people together and creates bonds that last for years. In this sport, you become part of a close-knit community where people support each other, help one another through difficult moments. The relationships built within the rugby team are based on trust, respect, and genuine care for one another. That's why my main message is simple. Don't be afraid to try it. If you come to rugby with an open mind, you won't just discover an exciting sport. You'll find loyal friends, unforgettable experiences, and a second family that will always stand by your side.
Like any sport, rugby develops in cycles. There was a period when Kazakh rugby faced a natural transition. A generation of accomplished veterans were reaching the end of their career, while younger players were still gaining the experience needed to compete at the highest level. Today, however, Kazakh rugby is emerging from that transition. It requires leaders, athletes who can connect a proud history with new ambitions and inspire those around them.
Among team sports in Kazakhstan, rugby is one of the leading disciplines. The sport experienced a period of steady growth up until 2018, after which there was a natural phase of generational transition. Today, Kazakh rugby is once again gaining momentum. At present, rugby is played in 12 regions across the country and particularly strong in 5 regions where established infrastructure, coaching systems, and local support have created thriving rugby communities.
Balzhan Koishybayeva has successfully mastered both versions of the game. In traditional rugby 15s, she is a key player for Kazakh national team, helping maintain the structure of the squad. But it is in the Olympic format of rugby 7s that her greatest strengths truly come to life. Balzhan's ability to read the game, make quick decisions, and exploit opportunities becomes especially valuable. It is in this fast-paced format that she and her teammates take on some of the toughest challenges in international rugby, representing Kazakhstan against the world's strongest teams. Balzhan's journey into this remarkable sport did not begin from scratch. Like many of her teammates on the national team, she came to rugby from another athletic discipline, bringing with her a strong physical foundation but little understanding of the game itself. Her first steps on the rugby field were far from easy. The challenges were both physical and mental. Grueling training sessions, bruises, bumps, constant contact, and the need to master a completely new tactical system often made her question whether she had made the right choice. More than once, the young athlete felt the natural urge to walk away and return to a more familiar path. But rugby has a unique quality. It either rejects you from the start or captures you completely, gradually transforming your fears into passion.
Of course, I remember those days very well. I genuinely thought rugby might not be for me. I wanted to walk away, skip practice, and leave it all behind. But I always found myself coming back. At some point, I realized that rugby was no longer just a sport I was trying. It had become a part of who I am. It was my game.
Professional sport is not only about victories and celebrations, it is also about injuries, setbacks, and long recoveries. For rugby players, physical knocks are an unavoidable part of the game. Balzhan has faced her share of serious injuries, testing both her body and her mental strength. Rehabilitation is often the hardest period in an athlete's career. It means being away from the team, stepping out of your normal routine, and facing uncertainty on your own. It is during those moments that doubts can appear and thoughts of walking away from the sport may seem impossible to avoid.
Of course, those moments happen. Every serious injury comes with a recovery period, and that can be mentally challenging. There are times when you ask yourself, maybe this is enough, maybe it's time to stop. But then I remind myself how many years I've dedicated to rugby. I didn't come this far for no reason. I still have goals I want to achieve and victories I want to fight for. That's what keeps me going. You recover, return to the field, and continue striving to be better and to win.
Қайтадан ойнайсың, жаңа жеңістерге тырысасың. Шын айтсам, уже жарақаттан қорықпаймыз. 15 жылдық.
Honestly, we're no longer afraid of injuries. Over 15 years, we've gone through many of them and kept coming back each time. Now we treat them much more calmly, but mistakes, of course, always happen. If we make a mistake, we try to correct it as quickly as possible and get back into the game. I think that's something that exists in every sport.
Қателігімізді жоюға тырысамыз, қайтадан ойынға кіруге тырысамыз. Сол атак әр спортта ол бар деп ойлаймын, қорқынышы.
All these stages, triumphs and setbacks are part of the experience, a form of physical and mental growth. Many years ago, Balzhan used to take any defeat with the national team extremely hard. Losses felt like the end of the world, bringing tears and deep disappointment. Today, after hundreds of international matches, she has learned to face any result with the composure of a seasoned master. She understands that losses are simply valuable material for correcting mistakes, and the true greatness lies in the ability to maintain inner balance and keep moving forward despite temporary setbacks.
Ең қиыны мен үшін жаңағы бір турнирде
The hardest thing for me is when I can't deliver a good performance at a tournament and we lose. That is the most painful part. In my youth, I took defeats very hard. I could cry and get deeply upset, but over time that has eased a bit. Now I'm learning to accept everything as it is, both victories and defeats.
басылып, жаңағы жеңіс болса да, ұтылып қалсақ та кішкене как оно есть дейді ғой, сол сияқты. Сөйтіп қабылдау үйрендім.
In the current Kazakh national team, Balzhan is valued not only for her physical conditioning but also for her unique strategic mindset. In rugby, players are informally divided into two categories: executors, who provide physical drive and athletic dominance, and playmakers, who are able to scan the field, anticipate opponents' moves, and think of subtle, effective combinations. Balzhan belongs precisely to the category of strategic thinking players, whose intelligence and composure allow the team to maintain structure even during the most intense opposition pressure.
жаңағыдай айтқандай,
In elite sport, everything is structured in a very interesting way. Some athletes are naturally incredibly strong physically, but in decisive moments they may lack psychological resilience or refined game intelligence. At the same time, there are completely different types of players. Those who are objectively behind in pure physical strength, but make up for it through tremendous dedication. They think exceptionally well on the field, see the entire game clearly, and read the opponent's actions in advance. In our national team, this balance is distributed exactly in this way.
ойлап, ойынды құратын адамдар болады.
In the spring of 2026, Almaty became a focal point for fans of this dynamic sport, hosting major international competitions where our girls once again demonstrated an exceptional level of skill. The team's performance on the field was closely observed by the head coach of the Kazakh women's national team, South African specialist Fabian Juries. Coming from a country where rugby is almost a national institution, his expert eye recognizes the enormous potential of Kazakh athletes. He sees their passion, their unwavering commitment in every moment of the game, and believes that these results are paving the way for Kazakhstan's rugby program to reach the highest level and establish itself among the world's elite.
I'm the coach of the Kazakhstan women's rugby team. I think rugby is a very small sport in Kazakhstan because boxing and the combat sports are more popular, but the girls are really doing well at the moment. Although we don't have a lot of players, I think this tournament will go a long way in getting the popularity up because the girls played very well today.
The road to sporting greatness is never easy. It is a demanding journey marked by exhaustion, injuries, and moments of self-doubt. Yet Kazakh female rugby players continue to prove that resilience, determination, and competitive fire know no gender. Through their performances, they have earned international respect and transformed this tough, uncompromising sport into a source of national pride. At the forefront of this journey stands Balzhan Koishybayeva, an athlete who has learned to overcome every challenge and setback. Through years of dedication, she has developed into a powerful competitor, a strategic thinker, and a true leader. For her, the team has become a family, and wearing her country's flag is a constant source of motivation. Her pursuit of gold is still underway. Step by step, she continues moving toward her Olympic dream.